need memory and why we need to go for a set of memories or a memory hierarchy in one system rather than providing a single memory, right? And why we have to go for organizing the memory, right? And how I mean, we are going to see how we can organize the memory for a different purpose. Okay, that we are going to see discuss in this session, right? And before we start discussing, I have one work for you people. That's the memory cell design, right? For different memories, memory cell design is there in your textbook, and I want you guys to go through it and write an assignment on it and submit it. Evaluation of that assignment will be there, online evaluation, okay, based on what you have learned while doing the assignment. It will be reflected in the given questions when you answer, right? So when can you submit the assignment? And the next day we can have the evaluation of the same. If you guys don't give me the date, then I will give you the date. That may not be suitable to you people. So you give me a date or I give you a date?
Ma'am, we'll discuss in within 10 minutes.
Discuss and tell me.
Yes, ma'am. If a single person says it, then everyone will be fighting.
If possible, what? Come again, Kishore?
Ma'am, if a single person says it, others won't be happy with it. So I'll discuss inside.
Okay. So not better, not late than this weekend. Okay.
Then we will keep it in the weekend, ma'am.
When, Prashant?
Sunday. Submission on Sunday.
Why do you want to do in the weekend for all of them?
How many questions, ma'am? Like single
No,
question
no.
or?
Assignment is you to prepare, and then the evaluation will be after that for me to verify how much you learned actually.
Okay. Like Viva evaluation.
We'll plan how we plan to conduct.
Okay.
So the assignment you are supposed to write about all the different types of memory cells discussed in your textbook.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we keep it like Friday? Yes or no?
Saturday.
Okay, fine. Saturday. I'll in AMS I'll create the link and fix it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now in this session, we are going to discuss different way of organizing and why we need to go for different organization, all that, right? And after you complete the assignment, we can discuss a few other aspects in choosing the memory, right? And you will understand better why we choose this kind of an operation, right? So the first section is what we discussed in the yesterday's class. That's completely of the why we need to go for a memory hierarchy and what and all we have to take care when we provide the memory for storage, right? And one way of addressing the problem, that is, you need to provide a larger capacity as well as speed, and also not increase the cost of the system, right? So for that, how can you bridge the gap, the mismatch between the processor speed and the speed of the slow processing secondary memories, right? So now we have one type of memory to discuss, right? After we discuss how do we organize and all that, you will get a little bit clear idea of why we have to go for organizing and how, I mean, there are n ways possible, and how do we finalize on the design. All that you will get an idea. Okay. Semiconductor RAM memories is what we use for the main memory, right? We discussed uh, three possibilities to give the solve the bottleneck in the memory design, right? One is the introducing cache memory, and second is introducing a main memory, and third is the virtual memory concept. Okay. And the semiconductor RAM memories are mostly used for main memories, right, which bridges the gap between the secondary memory and the processor. Okay. And it also available in, are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, can the RAM memory is available in a wide range of speeds, right? The ranges are from 100 nanoseconds to 10 nanoseconds, right? Every memory cell invariably have number of transistors inside, okay? And those transistors again are made up of gates only, okay? So the speed here different. The change in speed here also due to number of transistors you have for one memory cell, right? Some design we have a single transistor, some design we have two transistor, and some designs have 6 transistors in one memory cell to store a single bit, right? The design may have, when we say memory cell, it is to store a single bit, please do remember. So some may have up to 6 transistors in one memory cell. Okay, so naturally each of these transistors are made up of gates, right? And mostly used are NAND and NOR gates. Okay, and depends on the what basic gate has been used here for implementing the transistor, also influences the speed of the operation of the memory, right? And in addition to that, you know that transistors, it requires some switching time, right? The changeover from one state to the other state. Naturally, it will not happen at that instant, right? It's the gradual increase from either low to high or from high to low, right? Whatever we see in CS digital, it will not. We see only the stable state, right, when it is at 1 or 0, but the transient state we are not considering here in digital, right? But every transistor will take, whenever some changes are there, it will take some time to respond and settle down with the final state. Okay, so the switching ability, this is what we call as the switching, right? The switching ability of the transistor influences the speed of operation of any device you are going to use. That can be the processor or memory or anything, right? The switching speed of where the transistor influences the highest speed at which the processor can operate, or at highest speed at which the memory can operate, right? So now, and like I said, some some memory cell may have single transistor, some may have 2, 4, 6, all that. So when one transistor switching ability will not be the same as the other transistor, right? And when we have only one transistor, the speed of operation depends only on the switching ability of that particular transistor. But when we have 6 transistors in one memory cell, naturally the speed of operation at which you can operate depends on all the transistors switching ability. Okay. So even when you design the transistors, you cannot increase the switching at more than certain speed, right? If you are trying to increase at more than certain speed, the power emission will be higher, right? And we all know that power emission here will be in the form of heat only. So if we try to drive the transistors at a higher speed, which is where the transistor is not able to handle, right? The heat dissipation will be more and will end up in damaging the IC completely. Okay, so that is how the speed of operation gets limited in any design you do. Okay. So other than what gate is used for transistor and how many transistors are there in one memory cell also influences the speed of operation here. So depends on the design of individual memory cell. The speed of operation will be ranging from 100 nanoseconds to 10 nanosecond for one single operation. Okay. I already mentioned that the RAM memories are mostly used for implementing the main memories, right? So we see how it is configured and how it can be optimized to reduce certain requirements. Okay, all that will be saying. Before that, simple the basic informations about the main memories, where every main memory will, if it is single bit you read, there will be one single line for giving out the data or get the input data, right? And if there are 1 second, and if there are more data, like instead of a data line, if there is a data bus, right, where you will be transferring more than one bit at a time, right? So it depends on the memory. It can be if it's a 32-bit word processor, it depends on the requirement. You can make it byte addressable, where at a time you may require 8-bit or entire 32-bit also, or sometimes 16-bit, all that. Okay. So for transferring each and every bit, we'll have a word line, right, in the memory, where the word line gets connected with the data bus or the data line. So if it's a single bit transfer, it's a data line, and if it's more than one bit, we call it as the data bus. Okay. And for every data word line, you cannot directly connect it with the data line. Okay, it should be connected through the circuit, where that circuit will in case of a read operation, it will sense what exactly the data present on the word line and send it to the data bus. And if it is a write operation, it finds out exactly what the incoming data is and set the word line output accordingly, so that the same value gets stored in the selected memory cell. Okay, and we use a single word line and the data line alone bidirectional, right? Word line is unidirect, we use a single data line, right, for both read as well as write, which gets connected with the sense or write circuit, right? And the sole purpose of doing that is to reduce the number of pins required. Okay, I already mentioned that the cost what we pay for one single IC is not for the fabrication or production of the IC. We pay for the amount spent during the design time, right, where taking one single pin out requires a lot of routing and floor planning in the IC, right? So that design cost is what we pay. So when you provide more number of pins externally, the time taken for providing the routing, right, is more. That means the design cost is higher. Okay. So here is one simple arrangement where it's simply 16 words and each word is of 8-bit. Okay, arrangement you are seeing here. Whatever you see here as the small box is the memory cell which I am telling you till now, right? The design of the memory cell will be different, depends on the type of memory. Okay, and even in the same type of memory, design will be changing. Even the same SRAM memory, you can come up with different designs. Okay, where one may have 4 transistors and one may have just 2 transistors for implementing the memory cell. Okay, so each memory cell will be capable of storing one single bit. Okay, it's capable of storing a single bit. So here what you are saying is 8 memory cells for one word and 16 such words memory design is what you are seeing here. And in general, when you learn this entire thing, you will be learning as a single block, right, as memory cell. When we say memory, this entire thing you see as a single box. But here it has been elaborated how it has been arranged inside. Okay, in fact the sense and write circuit also will go in that, and you will be seeing only the data bus connection in the external side. Okay, so it will be like this only, right? And so for every memory cell you see here, you can see that 2 lines has been taken from each of the memory cell, right? One is the value as such, right, and the other is the complement of that value taken. Okay, so for every sense and write circuitry, either sense circuit will work or write circuit will work, depends on whether it's a read operation or write operation. So during read operation, the sense circuit will be sensing both the values. It will sense the true value as well as its complement value, right? And the purpose of doing this is to read the correct value, right? If the storage in the memory cell is not right, okay, what we read here will be, it won't be the complement of each other. Okay, for example, if B1 is 1, then B1's complement should be 0, right? And when you read here, if both are 1 or both are 0, that means it's not a valid data at all, right? So each memory cell value will be sensed here for its true value as well as its complement value, and only if both are complementing each other, it will be taken as the valid data. Otherwise, the stored data we might have lost due to some reason, okay, or the stored data is not valid at all. For that purpose, from every memory cell, we take both the values, right? Yes, somebody unmuted your mic. You have any doubt? Okay. So since it's a 16 words memory, right? Naturally, we know that minimum 4 address bits will be required to select between the 16, right? 2 power 4, I mean, sorry. Yeah, 2 power 4 will be giving, you will be getting 16 unique combination of addresses, where each combination will be used as the address for each one location or word here, right? So if for this case, if all zeros, the decoder enables word 0, right? And if it is 0001, the word line W1 gets activated, where all the 8 bits will be available through the bit lines to the sense or read circuitry here. Okay. And if it's 0010, W2 gets activated and all those bits will be available here. So the same bit line connects all the memory cells. That means that at any point of time only one word is going to be active, and that memory cell value is what we will be reading at the sense circuit. Okay. In addition with the address bits, the word line selection, right, we will be requiring 2 more minimum signals for every memory mapping. One is the chip select, right? When we have multiple memory chips, from which memory chip we have to do the current operation, okay? And if it's a single chip, it will be just enable or disable straight away, right? When we do memory operation, we enable the chip. When we are not doing any memory operation, we disable the chip. When it's multiple chip involved, right, it's also the duty of the engineer who designs to enable only that particular memory module, whichever we want to read. Okay, so that time only that particular chip select will be enabled, and the chip select in all other memory modules will be disabled. Okay, and mostly we provide the setup during using the additional address lines to select the memory module, like how we discussed in the yesterday session, where within a word, if you want to select a particular bit, we generally use the last lower bits to identify which byte you want to access. Same way, when we have the memory address higher for higher capacity, but what we have implemented is with multiple lower capacity memory modules. In that case, the higher address bits will be used to identify which memory module needs to be activated at any point of time. Okay, which we will be discussing in the organization, in the design, right, for your better understanding. So in this case, for this design, right, it's simply a 128 bit storage, right? So in that case, we arranged it like 16 words into 8, right? And we have not discussed whether all 8 bits will be available in this case, and we haven't discussed whether we want to access it as individual bit or not. All that we haven't discussed. Okay, but if it is this arrangement where we access 8 bit at a time, for this type of cell of providing 128 bit storage, right, to access the particular word, we need minimum 4 address bits, right? And to access the word, right, we need minimum 8 data bits, right? In addition to that, we'll be requiring 2 control signals. One is chip select and the other is read or write. Okay, so single control signal, if it is active high, it's a read operation. Active low, it's a write operation. Okay, and these 2 control signals are given to the entire memory, not like since it's connected to shown like connected to this particular sensor write circuit, it is connected only to this, not like that. Okay, this signal has been connected with all the sensor write circuitry. Okay, that's so it's the memory connection, right? Entire memory module connection. So these 2 signals minimum required. Okay, Now you can see that for this particular design, we are requiring totally 14 external pin connections, right? All we get is simply 128-bit storage and access to the same value. But for this itself, we are requiring 14 pin connections here, right? You get how do you have the number 14? Take a minute, understand, and if you didn't get it, you ask now. Understood? Shall we go to the next discussion or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now if we, whatever we discussed is for simply 128 bits, right? And if we need some 1K memory chip, right? It can be taken even for a single bit or byte, okay? If it is taken for even bits, right? We want 1K locations or 1K bits to be accessed. You definitely will have number of designs, right? Options to design the same requirement, right? And as an engineer, it's our duty to ensure that whatever the design we choose, that's the optimized design. No further reduction is possible in terms of the design or cost or component, anything, right? Without affecting any of the parameters minimum requirement, we should arrive with the solution, okay? So here is one possibility. If we design it is using the same arrangement of 128 locations with 8 bits, naturally we will be ending up with 1024 bits, right? So if we are using the same arrangement of 128 locations where each location is able to store 8 bits, right, to come up with 1K bits. Can we answer the following questions, right? How many number of chips will be required, and the number of address bits requirement, number of control signals requirements. Can you guys give me the answer? Venkata Supradeep, are you there? Venkata Supradeep. Venkata Supradeep, roll number 16, are you there or not?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing, sir? How many times I have called you?
Ma'am, I went for my mic is problem. Ma'am. I went for the. I'm removing earphones, ma'am. That's why.
Okay, can you give me the answer for any one of the question you see on the board?
Yes, ma'am. Just a second.
Mm. If we have 128 into 8 memory chip, right, and we need 1024 bits access, how many memory chip we require? One 28 into 8 is how much?
Just a second.
You can use the calculator which you have in your system or your phone or whatever it is. You need not sit and do the manual.
1024 now.
So how many number of chips will be required?
1024.
Okay. Requirement is 1024 number of bits and available is 128 into 8. So how many now such memory chip will be required?
Ma'am, one ma'am.
Absolutely right. Only one chip will be required, right? And how many number of address bits will be required?
Address bits.
Number of locations are how many in the chip?
Don't know.
Can you make little bit audible, Supradeep?
Don't know that.
Don't know. Okay. See, always whatever you are having first is the number of locations, and what you have next is the number of bits in one location, right? This is the word size of the memory, right? And this is the size of the memory. That is how many locations are there in one memory, right? And which parameter here decides the number of address bits required? Anybody? Any memory we take, we get only 2 spec, right? That's the size of the memory and the word size. So out of these two, which decides the number of address bits required? Rohan, can you? Rohan?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give the answer? Any memory spec has only 2 spec, right?
Is it
One is
8?
the size of the, pardon?
8?
8 based on what you are saying.
Mom, like based on.
See, any memory gives only 2 spec. I mean 2 values whenever we specify it. One is the size of the memory and the other is the word size, right? That's in one location, how many bits you are able to store. So out of these 2 parameters, which parameter influences the number of address bits required?
Isn't it 128, mom?
Yeah, 128 is the number of locations or size of the memory, right?
Yes,
So if there are 128 locations, then how many address bits will be required?
7, right? Because it's 2 to the power of 7.
Yeah, 2 to the power 7 will be 128, absolutely right. So first parameter always specifies the address bus size, and the second parameter specifies which bus size? It's the word size. So naturally it will be influencing the size of the data bus. Okay, so the word size influences the size of the data bus, and the size of the memory influences the size of the address bus. Okay, so from the spec given, you can directly write or find out these things very easily. So your data bus size supposed to be 8 bits, minimum 8 bits, and address bits required will be 7 bits, and number of chips required is 1. And anybody else can say how many number of control signals we require? Anybody else can say how many number of control signals? Minimum required number of control signals. What are the control signals we discussed in today's session? Vignesh Shankar, roll number 61. Vignesh, are you there or not?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Tell me how many number of control signals minimum required? What are the control signals we discussed in today's session?
Ma'am, you are. No idea, ma'am. Ma'am, the previous control signals, ma'am.
Okay, to a memory, what control signals are need? You just list out whatever you know. You leave out what we discussed in earlier.
Okay. Ma'am, to a memory, what all control signals are needed?
Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, one is the this thing. So, number is 14, but then
Number is what?
14, ma'am. MAR,
14
like
control
MAR.
signals you require.
Okay.
MAR is registered, right?
Then like MARN, ma'am. Like read, MFC, MARN.
Do we require those control signals external to the memory?
I presume so, ma'am. Not too sure.
Okay. So the basic control signals, what we discussed is actually one is the read or write, right? Where we have to specify whenever we select a memory what operation we really want to do. So we use one control signal to specify both either read or write operation, depends on which state it is, right? And the other is the chip select, right? These two minimum required. Since it's stated here including the power source, naturally power source, the VCC and ground or VDD and ground, two more signals will be added. Okay, so now if you total it, right, the minimum required number of external connections, right, number of address bits, 7 address bits address lines required for the address bus, and 8 lines required for the data bus, right? And in addition to that, we'll be requiring 4 more control signals. These are the minimum required external connections. Okay. So in total, we'll be requiring 19 pins just to connect the 128 into 8 memory chip to attain 1K bit storage, right? We have another possibility right, where we use 1K locations itself. With each location is word size is 1, right? Always in memory we specify only 2 things, where this is the size of the memory and this is the word length of the memory, right? So instead of using 128 into 8 chip arrangement, if we fabricate a chip using 1K locations and each location you store 1 bit, here also we are able to achieve the same capacity of 1K bit storage, right? But let's see how we what are the minimum required external connections, right? Can anyone tell me how many address bits required here? One K locations. So how many address bits will be required? Yeah. Who's that? Somebody voluntarily answered and I want to know. Sri? Srivatsan. I'm hearing your voice after some time, I think. Srivatsan. So 10 address bits required, right? And what should be the size of the data bus? Data bus size depends on the word size, right? What's the word size here? 1. So what should be the size of the data bus? 1 bit only, right? And a minimum 4 control signals required. That's the reader, right? Chip select, VCC and ground. So 4 more signals required, right? Now if you find out for the same 1K bit storage, all we required is only 15 pins, okay? So you want to go with the first possibility of design or you want to choose the second possibility of the design? Which one you think is the wise decision? Which one is the wise decision? First possibility or the second possibility? Somebody is speaking, can you make it audible? Second one. Second one. Soumya, I think. Yeah. Yeah, very good, Soumya. Can you tell me the reason too?
Yeah, as the number of pins are optimized.
Number of pins are reduced, and what's the advantage of reducing the number of external pins requirement?
The hardware will be reduced.
The design time, the routing complexity and cost of the system, everything will be reduced, okay, when you reduce the number of external pins requirement. That is why some of the ICs you can see single pin will be used for multiple purpose, right? When you know that where when you do one particular operation, the other operation won't be at any cost, won't be required. So in that case, instead of providing 2 separate pins, you provide only 1 pin and you multiplex the work. Like I said here for read or write, when we read it from the memory, definitely there is no possibility of writing. And when we are writing some data into the memory, there is no possibility of reading. So instead of providing 2 separate control signals and 2 separate pins to specify the read and write operation, you give 1 control signal and multiplex both the operation with the single pin. Okay, that also we do. So the same thing if we want to use for 4 mega locations, right? One possibility can be 1 mega locations with 4 word size, right? Each location will be able to store 4 bits. In this case, since it's 1 M locations, the requirement will be 20 address bits. And since the word size is 4 bit, we require the data pins to be 4 pins, right? In addition to that, all we require is the minimum 4 control signals. So even if it is 1 M locations, right? I mean, even to get with 4 m locations, right? All we if we are planning to put up with 1m into 4, right? IC, the organization will require only 28 pins. Okay, so like that we can come up with the different organizations, right? One such whatever we discussed earlier is here, where you can see that 1K into 1 itself arranged as 32 into 32 rows and 32 columns arrangement of memory cells, right? The 1K, instead of arranging it into simply 1K into 1 representation, we make it as a matrix arrangement where it's arranged in a 32 cross 32 memory cell array, right? And total, when you come up with the effective storage you get will be same 1K bits, okay? And we, in this case, when it is 32 rows and 32 columns, right? All we require is to identify one row. We need only 5 bits because 2 power 5 is 32. So we require only 5 bits to identify the row. And once the row has been identified, the entire 32 bit will be given to the sensor executory. And remaining lower 5 bits we use to identify out of that which particular bit we want. Okay, so next 5 bit will be used to identify which column out of those 32, which column bit we require, right? This is one way of arrangement of the 1K into 1 memory chip we discussed. When we say 1K, not necessary to be 1 K of locations arrangement, not necessary to be an arrangement of 1K into 1, right? It can even be arranged this way of matrix arrangement and you can still get the access. Okay. So just take a minute to understand this arrangement. Instead of a 1K rows and 1 column arrangement, for the same design, you can also go with the concept of 32 rows and 32 columns, it having the same storage of 1K bits, right? And you can choose so this is for a single bit access. When you want it to be byte addressable, you know that instead of accessing each and every bit in the row, you access it as what are all the, which are all the bits have to be accessed in the same row, right? So you can get it as 8 bit or 16 bit, whatever way you want, right? You got to understand these things better, otherwise the next class we further discuss about how we get whatever the requirement is, even if we don't have such memory arrangement, right? How do we achieve it? That we'll be discussing. So only if you're clear with this, you can understand that better. So if you have any doubt, please raise it now, understand. Any doubt, any of you?
No.
Okay. Okay, then we disperse. But if you have some doubt, either